and welcome. Tonight, it's another day of bloodbath in Mera community of Kebbi State as bandits kill 15 persons in the area. Natives of Nigeria, the United Kingdom and Spain conclude annual multinational joint military operation in the Gulf of Guinea. Supporters of FCT Minister Nyesom Wike and those of River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara trade words over planned protest scheduled for next week. And at least 25 persons have been killed after a bomb explosion at a railway station in Pakistan's southwest Balochistan province. On sports news tonight, world number 3, Golf won a gripping contest with multiple twists and turns, beating Olympic champion Zheng Qing 3-6, 6-4, 7-6 to claim her maiden WTA Finals title in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
And on business news tonight, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala eyes uncontested,
killing 15 residents in the process. That attack was confirmed by the Deputy Governor, Senator Abubakar Umar Tafida, who was in the town to commiserate with the families of the victims. During his visit to the community, Mr. Tafida reassured residents of the state of government's commitment to bringing the perpetrators to book and preventing further attacks. He also emphasized that the government will continue to collaborate closely with security agencies to ensure the safety and well-being of the citizens. The Emir of Aguldo, Alhaji Samaila Mera, also conveyed his sorrow over the attack, calling unity and residence among the people. The 15 victims have now been laid to rest in accordance with Islamic tradition. Meanwhile, the governor of Kebbi State, Nasir Idris, has commiserated with the people of Mera community after that attack by bandits. In a condolence message by his chief press secretary, Ahmed Idris, the governor described that incident as ugly and very unfortunate. The governor reassured residents of the community that the government is taking all necessary steps in collaboration with security agencies to combat crime across the state. He therefore asked citizens to cooperate with security personnel by providing credible intelligence to aid their efforts. And staying with that Kebbi attack, the state chapter of the People's Democratic Party has also strongly condemned the incident, describing it as both shocking and unfortunate. The state chairman of the party, Alhaji Usman Bello Suru, who commiserated with families of the victims on behalf of the working committee, party leaders, the State Working Committee, the state government, and the Agago Emirate Council and Agio Local Government Council advised the state government to halt the use of public resources on what he calls frivolous foreign trips that have yielded little or no benefit for the state and concentrate on investing the resources in creating an enabling environment to attract long-term economic growth, stability, and employment opportunities for the people of Kebbi State. From Kebbi, we head to River State, where the police command in charge of the eastern ports have arrested 5 suspects for vandalizing one of the jetties at the port. Briefing journalists in Port Harcourt, the River State capital, while parading the suspects, the Commissioner of Police, Jimoh Moshood, says the suspects, whose age range between 18 and 32 years, used metal cutting equipment to cut the metal, which they intended to sell as scrap to dealers.
It's a case of foiled attempt to commit vandalism of port facility, arrest of vicious and notorious suspected vandals, and recovery of vandalized items and equipment and operational canoe of the vandals. The officer in charge of police marine attached to Rivers Port on the 27th of October 2024 at about 0700 hours with his men on routine security patrol along MP waterfront, intercepted one pulling wooden canoe with 3 occupants on board. When the suspect sighted the marine police team, 2 of the suspects jumped out of the wooden canoe into the water and escaped, while one among them, identified as Yibiri James, male of Elechi Beach waterfront, was arrested. The patrol team recovered the wooden canoe and 3 pieces of long iron found inside the canoe, and these were taken as exhibit for further investigation. Case 2. The officer in charge of Marine Police attached to Rivers Port on the 29/10/2024 at about 15:10 hours, with his men while on patrol along the MP waterfront, intercepted a wooden boat with 3 occupants on board with some particles of steel iron suspected to have been vandalized from the underneath of core apron or bath of port facility. These were found inside the canoe.
Governor Diko Rada of Katsina State has inaugurated 550 personnel in the second batch of the State Community Watch Corps. The first batch was inaugurated in October 2023 during that ceremony held at the College of Peace and Disaster Management, Babaruga in Katsina State. The governor underscored the role of traditional and religious institutions in the fight against insecurity. He commended the dedication, sacrifice and commitment of the new Community Watch Corps members, emphasizing their crucial role to securing Katsina's communities. The governor also says the remarkable successes achieved over the past year, including a significant decrease in crime rates in areas where the Community Watch Corps have been active, is commendable.
The community approach was not just a strategy but a vision to empower our people to take ownership of their safety and well-being. The government believes that the community-driven approach better serves as community-driven crisis. The transition from the kinetic-focused to a non-kinetic approach to tackling insecurity has always been our objective. The government has trained rural communities in hard-to-reach areas to provide first line of defense before reinforcements arrive. We are actively encouraging all communities who wish to participate in our peace building and self-defense program to nominate qualified candidates and partner with the state in our progress toward total security in Kano State.
The Nigeria Police Force is asking senior police officers in Niger State to train and arm police constables in the state as a way of strengthening economic and community policing and enhancing manpower capabilities. The Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 7, comprising the Federal Capital Territory and Niger State, Mr. Bennett Igwe, gave this charge at a meeting with the Niger State Commissioner of Police in Minna, the state capital.
The Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 7, comprising the Federal Capital Territory and Niger State, Mr. Bennett Igwe, is on a security fact-finding visit to Niger State. He is received by the State Commissioner of Police, who briefs him about the difficult terrain his men are operating in.
Bonegwari Forest leads into Dogondaji, Malawi, Kadaga, Anawanka, Madaka, Wayam, and Kagera in Niger. So in Mariga, we are bounded by the issues from Zamfara. Despite these challenges, the police, the army, the air force, the civil defense, and every other supporting stakeholders like the vigilantes have been paying the supreme price across the years to stymie the tide of these incursions into the state. The FCT and the Niger.
In his remarks, the AIG urges senior police officers in the state to train and arm police constables to contribute to the security in the state.
We have granted police constables to carry arms, train them and let them carry arms. Train them on arms drill. We'll give you 2 weeks to train them, arm them.
AIG Igwe and his team also paid a courtesy visit to the state governor. The governor appreciates the efforts of the police and promises more support for the operations of all security outfits in the state.
We are trying to also change the narratives in terms of community policing. We have been settling communal clashes, crises within communities, land disputes, and so far so good we have achieved significant mileage. Can I assure you that you will not regret working in this command? Niger State is your home. As you rightly mentioned, we have more borders to FCT than any other place. Therefore, you are also very familiar with the ground.
Niger State is one of the epicenters of banditry, kidnapping, and other forms of insecurity in Nigeria's north-central region, a situation security agencies continue to contend with.
The Nigerian Navy, its Spain and UK counterparts have returned to base after the successful completion of Exercise Grand African Nemo, which is a multinational annual maritime joint operation to strengthen capacity towards a safer Gulf of Guinea. Our correspondent Chris Illens reports that the Nigerian Navy committed 5 naval ships and 2 helicopters to that exercise.
Naval ships of Nigeria, Spain, and the UK navigates the waters of the Gulf of Guinea for a 3-day exercise.
10 of starboard, wheel on, sir.
On board are personnel who would undergo exercises to build capacity and strengthen interoperability of the navies.
Roger, the size of the nets used are 70 meters. Over.
They are put through lessons on anti-illegal, unregulated, unreported fishing, anti-crude oil theft, vessel boarding search and seizure, and illicit drug trafficking. All exercises are done under the watchful eyes of the officer in tactical command.
This is aimed at promoting the development of the blue economy opportunity in the region. This year, 2 foreign countries were involved in this sea exercise, and that is United Kingdom and the Republic of Spain.
Life challenges of an average naval officer are simulated to hand practical experiences to those on board. But how much of a lesson have they learned?
A very, very good experience for us to observe everything and also to practice with our international partners, especially if we had a situation where people went on board those other ships for boarding VBSS. There's a legal finishing aspect of the exercise, which takes into cognizance Nigeria's passing of the SPOMO Act, as well as all other HSOPs and acts that have been placed in Nigeria. And I feel as if it provides us with that impetus to continue to do our work better. So everybody, including myself, at the end of this exercise is better placed, better equipped to do what has to be done to ensure that Nigeria's maritime space is safe.
The verdict from the OTC appears impressive, but for one more time, the navies exchange salutes. Regular drills such as one offered by Exercise Grand African Nemo will keep personnel and their fleet in top shape for the many challenges of preserving and protecting the maritime domain and its many offerings. Chris Illens, Channels Television News.
In part 2, after the break, Chief Justice of Nigeria, Kudirat Kekereekun, and Emir of Kano, Khalifa Mohammed Sanusi II, admonished Nigerian judges to be upright and administer justice with the fear of God. Please join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television. A reminder of our top stories. It's another day of bloodbath in Mera community of Kebbi State as bandits kill 15 persons in the area. Navies of Nigeria, the United Kingdom and Spain conclude annual multinational joint military operation in the Gulf of Guinea. Supporters of Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, and those of River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara trade words of a planned protest scheduled for next week. And at least 25 persons have been killed after a bomb explosion at a railway station in Pakistan. The chairman of the Progressives Governors Forum and Governor of Imo State, Senator Hope Uzodinma, has expressed sadness over the death of the late Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, who died on Tuesday in Lagos. Speaking at the Flag House in Abuja shortly after paying a condolence visit to the family of the late Army Chief, Senator Uzodinma says that General Lagbaja's death came to him as a shock, having worked closely with him when he served as the General Officer commanding 81 Division of the Nigerian Army in Enugu State. The governor, after signing a condolence register, extols the virtues of the late Chief of Army Staff, describing him as a passionate and committed soldier.
Of course, one of the finest soldiers Nigeria ever produced. It was the General Officer commanding 82 Div in Enugu, and that gave me the opportunity to work very closely with him. And it was how I discovered this gallant, smart, very intellectual soldier, a pan-Nigerian, a nationalist, a committed soldier, and who believed in democratic principles. And eventually he became the chief of army staff. And under him, you could see that the Nigerian army, in terms of dignity, integrity, and respect, made a huge success. So now suddenly he died. And it's so painful a death, so painful at a very young age that he has to die. And the consoling thing here is that at least he served the country, contributed his own quota reasonably, and got to the zenith of his career, becoming the chief of army staff. I think those are the consoling words. I know that we will miss him. The family will also miss him. But we pray that Almighty God will give all of us, including the immediate family, the fortitude to bear the loss. It's regrettable.
President Bola Tinubu is set to leave Abuja on Sunday for Riyadh in Saudi Arabia to attend the joint Arab-Islamic summit, which will focus on the current situation in the Middle East. That summit, which is scheduled at the invitation of King Salman and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, will commence on Monday, November the 11th, 2024. According to a statement from the State House, during the summit, President Tinubu is expected to address the ongoing Israel-Palestinian conflict, emphasizing Nigeria's strong call for an immediate ceasefire and the urgent need for a peaceful resolution. Nigeria will also advocate for renewed efforts to revive the two-state solution as a pathway to lasting peace in that region. Key officials to accompany the president include the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tugar, the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, and the Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, Ambassador Mohammed Mohammed. After the conclusion of the summit, President Tinubu will return to Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekereekun, says that the Nigerian judiciary has a lot of upright, knowledgeable, hardworking, and courageous judges, but laments that there are few bad ones tarnishing the reputation. The CJN made this known today at the public discourse in Lagos, which had the theme Ethics, Morality, and the Law. Justice Kekereekun, who was the chairperson of that event, used the opportunity to advise all judges to remember that as individuals, each person is accountable to his or herself and to God. In his remarks at that event, the Emir of Kano, His Highness Khalifa Mohammed Sanusi II, asked Nigerian judges, especially justices of the Supreme Court, to administer justice with the fear of God. He also said his New Year resolution is to no longer be controversial, asking the judges to be upright and focus more on substantive justice rather than technicalities.
When your friends come to you, when your colleagues come to you, when the government comes to you, when your relatives come to you and you have a case before you, and appeal to you, and you listen to them, and you tilt in their favor and tweak justice in their favor, that's fine. Ask yourself, where will they be when you stand before Allah explaining that judgment?
By and large, our judges are morally upright, courageous, knowledgeable, and hardworking. It's just a few that have given us a bad name. The change that we want to see in society is in each and every one of us. Not just the judges, not just the lawyers, not just the politicians, every single person. If we all follow the tenets of the faith that we profess, our society will be much better. And I call on every stakeholder to join hands in making the Nigeria that we all want to see. It doesn't lie in the hands of one person or two, one segment of the society or the other. It lies in all of us.
The Director General of Aishatu Dahiru Binani Campaign Organization in the last governorship election in Adamawa State, Mr. Salihu Baba Ahmed, has dumped the All Progressives Congress for the People's Democratic Party, the PDP. Senator Barata made this known when he, alongside members of the Jimeta community, paid a solidarity visit to the state governor, Umaru Fintiri, in his office in Yola, the state capital. According to him, democracy is all about development, and Governor Fintiri has done very well in all areas of development. He therefore appeals to the governor to carry everyone along by running an all-inclusive government in the state.
The people of Jimeta community in Yola North, from across religious and political divides, converge on the banquet hall of the government house. They are here on a solidarity visit to Governor Umaru Fintiri to identify with his administration's developmental strides in the state capital. The meeting gets underway as Governor Fintiri, alongside his deputy, Professor Kalitapwa Farauta George, and other government officials, arrive the venue. Some leaders of Jimeta community then take turns to state their mission.
We, the people of the local government, and our leaders are today here at the government house, the seat of the government, for the sole purpose of conveying our appreciation, thanks and gratitude to the governor for the development he brought to Yola North local government area.
The transformation agenda of your administration that turns Jimeta from a mere city to a mega city. We thank you, Your Excellency. This huge infrastructural development has made us to become investment hub in the northeast sub-region. We really appreciate it.
The high point of the event is the defection of some APC stalwarts in the 2023 governorship election to the PDP. They include the Director General of the Senator Dahiru Binani Campaign Organization, Salihu Baba Ahmed, and a former Speaker of the State Assembly, Hassan Turaki, and their supporters.
We, the people of Jimeta community, have appreciated the achievement of the country, and we have been trying to arrange for this meeting long time ago. That will be possible until now. And it coincides the campaign from APC to PDP, and that makes the whole exercise a very big occasion.
Addressing members of the Jimeta community, Governor Fintiri appreciates the Dikampis and their supporters, assuring them also of his resolve to do more in turning the state capital into a mega city.
What we are doing is just a tip of the iceberg. From the super highway, we will enter Bachure area, and God willing, we will construct all the roads in Bachure completely. I have authorized the Ministry of Works that this will be our project for next year. Someone says, what about the horse runabout? From there to the total runabout, if you have a house or a shop along that road, you better clear there. If you are an investor, we welcome you with both hands because we have more than enough plots of lands to give you so that you can establish your factory and employ our youth. Jimeta is already a blessed place. That is why today it is the state capital. Therefore, give us your support and pray for us because the best is yet to come.
Similarly, the Michika community of Michika local government area are also on a solidarity visit to Governor Fintiri, but with a specific request in a letter, which is the creation of their chiefdom. Responding, Governor Fintiri says their message has been well received.
Besides the courtesy call and thank you visit, we are soliciting for our freedom, having been marginalized by traditional institutions in the past. Since we now have our own in government, we feel when we come, he will hear us and he will grant us our request as usual because he has never failed us.
He also assures them that his administration will continue to promote policies that will unite the people and give them a sense of belonging.
Supporters of the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike and River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara are locked in war of words over an alleged plan by civil society members to stage an anti-government protest in Abuja next week. Wike Generation Next, which is a group aligning with Mr. Wike, claims that Governor Fubara is backing the protest to sway judicial decisions on the River State Appropriation Law. However, the Special Advisor on Civil Society Relations to Governor Fubara dismissed this allegation, calling it baseless.
The political atmosphere in River State has been noticeably peaceful since the recent court judgment on the state appropriation law. Although the physical confrontations have subsided, reactions to the judicial decisions continue to shape the public discourse. At this hall in Port Harcourt, the state capital, a group of young people gather under the banner of Wike Generation Next, accusing Governor Siminalayi Fubara of enlisting civil society members to orchestrate an anti-government protest in response to recent court decisions in Abuja next week.
It has been uncovered that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will not be spared by the rented protesters. We have it on good authority that the governor, through his surrogates, have held a clandestine meeting with the leaders of this group in Abuja on Thursday, 7th November 2024, with our scarce resources meant for the development of River State, which was doled out to them to mobilize for the protest.
They urged the police to remain alert, calling the alleged protests unwarranted, since according to them, the court merely upheld the rule of law.
The pronouncement by Justice Kolawole James Omotosho of the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja on the 2024 appropriation bill and the leadership of the River State House of Assembly, as well as its consequent confirmation by the Court of Appeal, had nothing but the rule of law speaking in its purest form, devoid of any iota of emotion or bias.
Responding to the allegations, the Special Advisor to the Governor, Siminalayi Fubara, on Civil Society Relations, Akonna, dismisses the claims as baseless. Na, who previously served as leader of Obiakpor Legislative Assembly, representing Mr. Wike's ward, argued that the Wike supporters are attempting to deflect blame for the minister's declining popularity in Abuja.
Are they telling us, invariably telling us that they have known the outcome of the judgment of the matter in court? That is what it implies. I want to tell Nigerians to know that River State government has nothing to do with any purported protest to that effect. We tell Nigerians to sit down. Let them sit down and relax. Everyone witnessed what we complain and what we are crying about in River State. How one man, because of selfish interest on how to control state resources, want to plunge everybody into hardship.
As the state awaits further developments, residents can only hope that the current peace remains undisturbed.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala eyes contested second term at World Trade Organization as she confirms willingness to serve a second 4-year term. Please stay with us. Welcome back. The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate, has been speaking on efforts of the federal government towards upscaling cancer treatments in the country. Professor Pate, who spoke during the signing of the equipment supply contract between Siemens Health and the Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority in Abuja, says a cut down of the contract sum by 30% of the total for the supply of cancer treatment equipment to the new cancer centers being built by the federal government through the NSIA has now positioned Nigeria to build more health infrastructure with less resources.
I appreciate you for the significant concession discount of 30%, which amounts to quite a significant amount of money, really, that we are clawing back to serve the public. This transaction is one that I have to admit, it was quite challenging because there are all kinds of incentives on the other side for folks to go through means that would ensure that discount doesn't accrue to the public, but also doesn't accrue to the manufacturers.
This will help thousands of patients. Cancer as a disease has become so personal. There's hardly any family which is not touched by it. And I think all of us together will do a great service by ensuring that we provide the much needed care to the
patients and families.
The African Center of Excellence, a World Bank-funded Center for Food Technology and Research, has established a large-scale food processing factory. This is to help curb post-harvest losses in Benue State. The Benue State University Vice-Chancellor, Professor Joseph, disclosed this at the 10th anniversary audit of the center. The center provides training for local and foreign students on modern food technology and how to minimize post-harvest losses.
Postgraduate students at the Center for Food Technology and Research, Benue State University, Makurdi, exhibiting their products, which are processed food from cassava, yam, sesame seeds, and soya beans. It's a combination of 11 MSc and 9 PhD students from 7 departments with specialty on modern food processing technologies. This exhibition is part of the 10-year audit of the African Center of Excellence, which is a World Bank-funded food sufficiency program in Africa.
The World Bank provided the opportunity, the platform, and the gateway for the narratives we share here today. The complex is the first of its kind in Africa, offering the opportunity for African students and innovators to study and practice within re-industrial operations conditions. SEPTA's entrepreneurial spirit is evident in funding 25 startups in partnership with UNDP and FCMB.
In his remarks, the Vice-Chancellor of the National Open University underscores the important role the center plays in efforts to curb post-harvest losses.
By 2016, SEPTA had all of them restored to their new forms, thus providing a historical narrative of stages of techniques and practices about post-harvest loss and management. I can recall vividly that staff and students from SEPTA came on study tours to this museum as part of their learning pathway, understanding the techniques of old management of post-harvest losses.
Since its inception, the center has continued to create value addition for rural farmers, providing them hands-on training on food production and how to reduce post-harvest losses.
Over the years, SEPTA has transformed into a hub of innovation, knowledge sharing, and practical solutions aimed at enhancing food security, not only in Nigeria, but across West Africa. Our work has impacted lives, trained generations of professionals, and significantly contributed to the fight against food loss. And this has positioned Benue State University at the forefront of post-harvest research.
Apart from helping to curb post-harvest losses, many people are hoping that the newly constructed food processing laboratory will also help provide first-hand practical training for students who are studying food processing technology at the center.
Federal lawmaker Senator Babangida Hussaini is calling on the federal government to take swift action to boost agricultural exports and drive economic growth. The senator, representing Jigawa Northwest, made this appeal at a stakeholders conference in Gumel, in the local government area of the state, stressing that economic diversification can be achieved through a strong focus on agricultural exports. Our correspondent Sadiq Iliasu reports.
The event, organized by the Nigerian Export and Import Bank, brings together agricultural experts, farmers, traditional leaders, and policy makers to explore strategies to strengthen the Nigerian economy through export. Panelists discuss solutions to the various challenges impending agricultural exports.
The major, challenges are traceability. Our product cannot be traced from its source. That is from the origin. Let's take example on sesame seed. There are about 13 to 14 states produce sesame seed in Nigeria. But if you go around, you will see all these sesame seeds has been supplied maybe to a particular market, whereby all the combined sesame seed will be mixed together and export to the international market. So by the times that those goods arrive at the international market, if there are issues affecting those, product, you can't be able to trace which state has that issue.
The senator representing Jigawa Northwest, Senator Babangida Hussaini, highlights Jigawa State's competitive edge in agricultural exports, emphasizing the region's potential.
Most particularly, this zone has huge potential for the production of sesame and hibiscus flower crops, which is an exportable commodity globally. So it was agreed that, we need to educate our farmers and my constituents to know the significance of investing in this area, and therefore the bank thought it fit and decided to establish this framework of engaging my people and explaining to them.
One of the challenges identified in the agricultural exports is the inadequate knowledge on the necessary procedures.
Deeply lack of knowledge. There's a depth in information and education on exports in Nigeria. Gumel, for instance, which is of course is a local government in Niger State, has a lot of mineral resources which it can harness and export to the world. But people don't have the knowledge to do so. So NEXIM has decided to embark on this enlightenment program to provide people with the knowledge and tools and resources to be able to boost exports.
Stakeholders express optimism that with targeted government support, Nigeria's agricultural sector could drive substantial economic growth through expanded exports. Sadiq Ilyasu, Channels Television News.
Away from agriculture, but still on improving the nation's economy, retail businesses in Africa are constantly seeking opportunities for growth and expansion as a critical driver of their overall success and longevity. And this was part of the thrust at the gathering of Africa's retail leaders, industry experts, academics, and public sector representatives. Speakers at that event, including the Lagos State Commissioner for Commerce, Cooperatives, Trade and Investment, Mrs. Folashade Ambrose Medebem, emphasized that retail trade plays an essential role in economic development, while the Dean of Lagos Business School, Professor Chris Obeche, urges enhanced government policies. This year's theme, Retail Beyond Borders, focuses on three key thematic areas, which is data and technology, policy and regulation, and stakeholder management.
Africa, as we all know, is the new frontier. Trade, commerce, and investment play a pivotal part. Retail trade specifically, obviously, the focus of this is incredibly important. And I find it very, very critical from a foundational building standpoint. When we talk about how we can, expand trade across Africa, what are the key components? We talked about the capacity, access to finance is one. The ability for a number of these retail players to trade digitally is also important, to be competitive, for them to really understand what are the rudiments, fundamentals, and ability to future-proof themselves. So a number of discussions are happening, networking is happening, and insights fundamentally are also being amplified.
Retail is one of the oldest businesses you can think of in Africa. And through retail, you find that the people from the eastern part of the country were able to develop an entrepreneurial system, which is apprenticeship system, that has created so many millionaires from the eastern part of the country. And they're all in the retail business. You find that many of them are subjected to different taxes at local government level, state level. That's actually scaring them and preventing them from operating, because sometimes they don't even know how legitimate those taxes are. So we should not stifle them. We should not kill them. Instead, we should find ways of encouraging them, because they can create more employment for the younger ones.
The Lagos State government has launched an Interstate Park accreditation and passenger manifest digitization initiative to enhance the safety of travelers and guards in their parks. The State Commissioner for Transportation, Mr. Oluwaseun Osuyemi, made this known at a press conference in Alausa, Ikeja. He says this initiative will modernize the management of interstate travel by establishing a secure digital record system for passenger information and phasing out the paper-based information system.
citizens travel in and out of Lagos State daily to visit their loved ones. As part of efforts to ensure the safety of travelers, the state government, through the Ministry of Transportation, has announced the introduction of an Interstate Park accreditation and passenger manifest digitization project to provide adequate records of citizens at the motor parks.
The goal of this initiative is straightforward. It is to make interstate travel safer, more efficient, and more reliable. Currently, our PASA manifest system operates on a paper-based approach, which can lead to inefficiencies and delays in critical situations. By transitioning to a fully digital platform, we aim to securely capture and store passenger information in real time, providing immediate access to accurate data in the event of any incidents. Alongside this, we are also implementing an accreditation system for all interstate parks, setting a new standard of quality, safety, and service for all operators.
The state government also emphasized the importance of safeguarding all parks, and one of its partners further explains that the project will be implemented in 2 phases. The first phase involves accreditation of all interstate parks to ensure they conform to global practices.
What we have seen is that we have had proliferation of interstate parks, almost everywhere in the state, not being organized. And somebody will just wake up one day and pick the place and it becomes a park. So going forward, we want to be sure, we want to know who is coming to Lagos and who is leaving. We want to organize that sector. So it becomes, when you go there, you know you are safe, and you are secure, and you know the people who are carrying passengers are authorized to carry passengers in that location.
You can see every park now have a unique ID. It's also going to be mapped to the record of the driver and the plate number of the vehicle that they eventually enter to move from one point to the other. When that is done, it is digitized and the ministry has a record of that data. So it means that, God forbid, anything happens, people, ministries and stakeholders can get that information and they are able to trace all the passengers that are on that bus.
A representative of the National Union of Road Transport Workers welcomes the initiative.
In transport, Lagos is original, where other states are copying from. I think at the end of this exercise, Lagosian and Nigeria at large, we have something to say. We have a good system.
The state government says the Interstate Park accreditation and passengers manifest digitization is a vital step towards modernizing the Lagos State transportation sector for the safety of all citizens.
We have more for you on the news at 10. As we delve into the world of business now, Laddie Williams is standing by.
Thanks, Anne. Well, the World Trade Organization today announced that Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, its current Director General, is the only candidate for the role. A statement issued, the WTO confirmed that Okonjo-Iweala, Nigeria's former finance minister, expressed her willingness to serve a second 4-year term on September 16th. The organization began its process for selecting a new Director General on October 8th, with a nomination deadline of November 8th. According to Peter Alberg, chair of the WTO's General Council, no additional nominations were received by the deadline. Dr. Okonjo-Iweala, who made history as the first woman and first African to lead the WTO, was appointed to the role in February 15, 2021. And to the markets now, the first full trading week of November kicked off in the red as the NGX All-Share Index and market capitalization depreciated by 0.20% to close the week at 97,236 points and 58.92 trillion, respectively. Trading activity was positive with a total of 6.4 billion shares valued at 75 billion naira were traded across 48,804 deals on the floor of the exchange, marking a significant increase from the previous week. For the sectoral performance, the oil and gas counter led with a 5.43% rise, even with a weekly loss on the share price of Wando PLC. Financial services, including banking and insurance, closed the week in the green. Unicel Interlinked PLC led the gainers chart week to date, closing at 8 naira 20 kobo, up 45.91%, while Luando PLC led the losers chart at 69 naira 95 kobo, down 21.97%. The natural services stocks were the top trades for the week, including Sovereign Trust Insurance PLC, Consolidated Hallmark Holdings PLC, United Bank for Africa PLC. And to the unlisted market, the NASD OTC securities market's performance also ended the week in negative territory as the index dipped by 0.21% week to date. On the flip side, the volume of securities traded this week was the same with the value of trades for the week. Top advances for the week are US ASL Nigeria PLC, NIPCO PLC, while the top decliners are Capital Bancorp PLC, Aecon Petroleum PLC. And in the global currency market, the US dollar finished the week with a gain of over 1% as investors evaluated the likely impact on the American economy following Republican Donald Trump's emergence as the president of the United States. Analysts expect Trump's policy proposals, including more trade tariffs, a clampdown on illegal immigration, lower taxes, and business deregulation to boost growth and inflation. The dollar index jumped to a 4-month high of 105.44 points on Wednesday. It was dipped since partly due to profit-taking. It was up 0.58 on the day, and Friday with a weekly increase of 1.06%. And that's it for me on Business News. Back to Anne with sports.
Thank you, Ladi. In the world of sports, world number 3, Coco Gauff, won the WTA Finals title on Saturday. That's today, and that's after rallying to beat China's Zheng Qinwen 3-6, 6-4, 7-6 in the final in Riyadh. The 20-year-old Gauff also trailed Olympic champion Zheng by a set and a break and was 2 points from defeat in the deciding set before battling back and securing victory in a tie break. They're set to take home $4,805,000 for her victory. Let's tell you more about the English Premier League. Brentford twice came from behind to beat Bournemouth today 3-2 at the Getch Community Stadium. In other matches, goals from Emil Smith-Rowe and Harry Wilson gave Fulham a 2-0 victory over Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. West Ham and Everton settled for a goalless draw. Matheus Chukwuna and Mario Lemina got on the score sheet as they inspired Wolves to their first league win of the season and their showdown with relegation rival Southampton. As for Brighton, they also came from behind to beat defending champions Manchester City 2-1 at Amex Stadium and to hand Pep Guardiola 4th successive defeat for the first time in his managerial career. And Catalan giants Barcelona have announced a new net deal with American sportswear brand Nike, which Spanish reports say could worth as much as 1.7 billion euros between now and 2038. Nike have won and made the Catalan Giants kits and other club-branded attire since 1998, and the existing deal was due to expire in 2028. But Barcelona did not reveal the length of the new deal nor the finances behind it. The Spanish club had tried to terminate their previous deal with Nike earlier this year, but they were prevented from doing so in July by a Spanish court specializing in commercial law. Away from sports, outside our shores, at least 25 people are dead and dozens more have been injured after a bomb went off at a railway station in Pakistan. Authorities are saying that the blast was a suicide bombing, confirmed that the perpetrator is among the dead.
The moment the explosion hit at Quetta railway station in Pakistan's southwest province of Balochistan caught on CCTV cameras. The blast killed at least 25 people, among them the suicide bomber, who was thought to be in possession of 6 to 8 kilograms of explosives. About 50 people were also injured, 10 critically, just as the morning train was about to set out for Peshawar in the north of the country. A militant group, the Balochistan Liberation Army, are claiming responsibility for the incident, although authorities say they are awaiting the final report of investigations. Pakistan is grappling with a surge in strikes by separatist ethnic militants in Balochistan province in the south and Islamic militants in its northwest, where insurgency has caused security concerns.
And the main news again. Bandits today attacked and killed 15 people in Mera community in Agri local government area of Kebbi State. We also told you that the navies of Nigeria, the United Kingdom, as well as Spain have concluded the annual multinational joint military operation in the Gulf of Guinea. Also today, supporters of FCT Minister Nyesom Wike and those of River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara traded words over the planned protest scheduled for next week. And at least 25 persons have been killed after a bomb exploded at a railway station in Pakistan. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Mwawadu. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Good night.